I want to welcome everybody to the newest installment of Enlightened 30 Depth to Show Revamped. I'm your host, Chuck Banks, and Benji's with us. And we got a very special guest that I'm going to throw out here in a minute. I'm going to read her short bio. She's an amazing, amazing person. She's going to be an amazing interview. Just stay tight here real quick. I do want to send out a lot of prayers, a lot of light, a lot of healing, a lot of love to Florida. Especially with this Hurricane Irma as it's smacking and rearing its ugly head. Just know that I'm sending you light out there. If you are listening in, I do know that I have a couple of friends, Lee Eric and Katrina Gamzee, that are basically going to be in the eye of the storm. And I want you both to know how much you are loved by not only me, but a plethora of us within the Beyond the Light radio network itself. And also all the fires that are going on. It just seems like we have hit absolute hell. Hell hath no fury, especially the past few weeks. But with that, tonight, episode 15, Benji? Is it 15?
Episode 15, yep.
Episode 15. It's really awesome. Anyway, tonight we got Lori Settle on. Lori, like the rest of her team, is no stranger to the paranormal. Having worked in mental institutions and even a mortuary, Lori has always was around places that generally give people the creeps. 15. Not to mention her home. It's really awesome. Anyway, it's proven to be haunted by Omega. Lori, like the rest of her team, is no stranger to the paranormal. Having worked in mental institutions and even a mortuary, a close friendship was formed. For the last several years, Lori and her daughter, Caitlin, have been an active part of the group. Lori is, in her words, a jack of all trades, master of none. I don't believe any of that, and that's not in her bio, by the way, but we'll move forward. She has worked in business and legal rights, so Lori took on the task as case manager, taking care of consultations, financial business, and investigation reports. Lori loves the paranormal. She is an investigator and possesses very strong abilities to communicate with the supernatural. Lori was on Destination America Discovery's When Ghost Attack. That's a tongue biter. Her episode, which was the series premiere, focused on her old home and the extreme encounters her and her family had there. Lori, not only welcome to this show, but welcome to the network, being a co-host with Matthew Bennett on Thursday nights with Introspection. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. I'm so honored and blessed to be part of you guys. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. And you know what? I love having you on, especially it was kind of short notice because last week I was like freaking out because Andrea hadn't gotten back to me, and I was like, oh, crap, what's going to go on? So, I was going to have you on in her place, but I'm so glad you were able to come on. Now, you two have struck up quite a friendship, right?
Oh, yes. Yes, Andrea and I are very close. Yeah, she's a very dear friend of mine.
It's pretty, the chances can't be very high to get both of you back to back, and I'll just throw that out there to all of our listeners. And just so everybody knows, the creepy doll is back. The closet is open just for Jen Burciaga. She likes that thing, and I wanted to make sure that I threw that out there right away. Welcome to Candy. Candy, you are an amazing lady, and Luna is in the chat room as well. But anyway, let's start off this, Lori, on the right foot. Let's talk your innate abilities to communicate with the deceased and to other entities and energy. When did that start? And did that start prior to your family's extreme haunting?
I've always been able to see things. But I've always dismissed them. But living in that house, I guess you could say, brought it out of me. I had no choice but to accept who I was. When you think you're a special person or something is wrong with you, you have a tendency to hide. And I hid when I was younger. But that house, it made me deal with what I am and what I can do. So now I just use it with open arms to help other families, is what I do.
So you can say full-heartedly that the house and the haunting itself, it opened those abilities that you had, in the back of your mind and enhanced those abilities. I look back on my own personal experience, and I would say that my experience has enhanced my abilities 1,000-fold. And I'm sure it's much in a similar manner.
Very much. Very much. Being able to communicate with the other side is a gift in itself. And to recognize those gifts is it's quite scary when you take that step into seeing those things. I tried to push them away, but now it's just like with open arms, just bring it. You know, anything to help other people, I say bring it.
And that's truly what it's all about. Now, just to kind of give the listeners and viewers some background, Lori and I had a chance to meet last year, almost about almost a year to the day, but within a couple weeks, in Van Meter, Iowa, and I got to meet Lori, her mother, and Caitlin, and it was an amazing experience. And I'll tell you this, she made eye contact with me when she was giving her story. And I not only was I entranced as a person listening to her story, but I felt it. And I think at that point, Lori and I kind of made that psychic connection that, you know what, that I can't even describe.
Yeah, I felt it too, Chuck. I knew that a minute, because I noticed when I was talking, you came over and you sat down in the front row, and I could tell you were really listening to every word that I said. And there was a connection there between you and I at that minute. I felt it as well. I did.
It's amazing, and we're going to dig deep tonight. Let's go back to this harrowing situation that when did it start, or in retrospect, what do you think started it? Do you think it was the house, or do you think it was something else? Maybe a door opened previous to the house.
I think actually both. The one entity, the little girl that I have always seen, the one with the dark hair with no eyes, I have seen her all my whole life. And we think we've come up to where her origin came from. We think.
Yeah. Give me 1 minute. Go ahead and continue to talk about that. I have a picture that my daughter actually drew that I have to share with you.
Okay. And the other, I believe, came with the house that we lived in. We later determined that he was a man that actually had committed suicide in the home back in the 40s. And he was a nasty critter. I mean, he was mean. He haunted us. He hurt us. Every day of our lives. Every day. It started with my daughter. I would put her to bed. She'd wake up about 3 o'clock in the morning screaming because this man was standing at the foot of her bed. She could describe this man to a T. Dirty overalls, greasy hair, real kind of sooty face, dirty face. And he never really approached her, but he would always stand at the foot of her bed. And that was a nightly thing.
How old was she at the time?
Caitlin was 5 years old. She was 5. So I bought her a light bulb, a special light bulb to make the bad things go away like us parents would do. And there was a plug-in right above her head where I could hang a really nice light for her to protect her so she wouldn't sleep in the dark. And I plugged it in and told her it was going to keep the monsters away. But as soon as I kissed her goodnight and walked out of the room, shut the door, as soon as the door shut, I hear this pop sound. I open the door, she's screaming and she's covered in glass. It was a brand new light fixture that had exploded right over top of my daughter. Oh. So then it started.
I just wanted to jump in here. This is the actual bed where my own both of my daughters saw a man at the end of it. So anyway, I wanted to kind of throw that in there. I can't find the pictures she drew. Imagine that. But go ahead and continue. I'm sorry I interrupted.
It's okay. Then it would start with audible. We would hear our names being called, whispers, music, And it wasn't as to if you were going to experience anything. It was just a matter of when you were going to experience anything. And it was a daily basis. Donnie would take Caitlin out on daddy-father dates, and they would go to the movies and out to dinner. One day they had left me at the house alone, and I had cleaned the entire kitchen, just cleaned all the cabinets off and wiped them all out and closed everything and left the room. I turned the corner to put the bucket around the corner, and I came back into the kitchen, 3-4 seconds, maybe 5 seconds, just to leave the room, drop the bucket, and turn around. And I come back in, and every cabinet in my kitchen is open. Every one of them. With no sound, I heard nothing. So when I turned to go back to the hallway to get the bucket to leave, that's when I see the girl standing at the end of the hallway. She is standing way at the very end, a long, dated dress. Her hair was braided. Whenever she looked up, how you had her chin to her chest, but when she looked up, all you saw was this negativity, but there was nothing there. There was no eyes in her sockets at all. Her fists were clenched by her side. She had the high black boot on. And we saw her every day till the day we left that house. We saw her every day. The man was seen every night. And sometimes during at night, you would hear him stomping up and down the stairs. There would come one point, we had come in from going grocery shopping, and Caitlin stops in the middle of the dining room archway, and she stops and she points. She says, "Look, Mom, ghost." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She points into the kitchen and she said, "Look, Mom, ghost." And I said, "What is she doing, baby?" She said, "It looks like she's actually maybe making coffee or making a sandwich, but she's doing something with her hands." When she described what the lady looked like, she actually described my landlord who had died 3 years before.
Oh, jeez.
It got to the point to where this man that was bothering my daughter, it had gotten to the point to where Donnie would sleep in her room and she would sleep in bed with me. Well, the first night we tried this, Donnie had went to sleep. Caitlin was asleep, so I was the last one to go to bed. I had curled over on my left side towards Caitlin, and I literally felt a hand, 5 fingers on my left hip, and it pushed me into the mattress. And I rolled over and there was nothing there. So when I laid back around to curl up around Caitlin again, it pushed me twice into the mattress. And then I rolled back over again. The third time, it bounced me so hard into the mattress. When I came up off the mattress, I hit the floor. So it was like it pushed me that hard where it literally bounced me out of the bed. When I came up out of the bed, I came up swinging. And don't you ever lay a hand on me. Don't you ever. Donnie catches me in the middle of the dining room, going into the kitchen, and Caitlin's screaming. And we get her calmed down. And as we all got quiet, you can hear this thing cackling, laughing from downstairs in the basement. You could hear it laughing what it had done to me. Yeah.
Wow. I don't even know what to say to that.
There's so much evidence that comes with this house. They actually called it when the team went in. They actually called it a demonic infestation. Is what they called it. They caught audio at one point. Jason is doing biblical provocation into the dining room, and on the audio, Jason says, when he says "for his name's sake," you can hear something behind Jason say, "Come downstairs." It was agony one to get downstairs wherever this negativity was happening. They wanted the team to come there.
Wow.
And I tell you what, any time that those things take place, the fear had to have been out of control, especially at the beginning, right?
Yeah. It was, first it was denial, then fear set in, and then you think people are going to think I'm crazy. You have no option but just kind of live with it and hide. But that in turn, staying hidden and not going out in the public eye, you become crazy. I mean, you really think that it messes with your mind. Mom said she had come down to check on me so many times, and I would just sit on the couch like it wasn't even me. And I would sit there with my arms down, just kind of plop down, and my head would be down. But she said she could see large black masses just floating above mine and Caitlin's head the whole time we were there. And
serious oppression. Serious oppression.
Oh yeah, serious oppression. Serious. And I was a hairdresser by trade back then, and you know me, Chuck. You've met me. I'm a clean person, but whenever we had went out into public, when I would go to work, my father would always make me put lotion on my skin, and I didn't understand why. But the longer we stayed in that house, my skin and my daughter's skin, not our clothes, but our skin, it had a rotting meat smell to it. She'd even taken us to doctors, and doctors couldn't determine what was causing it. But after the team went in, we got our answers we needed as to why our skin was doing that. If we were out of that house after a week, the smell went away. And but it was our own flesh that smelled like rotting meat.
Jeez.
Does obviously you're still not in the house, but does the house ever call your name?
Every day.
You know what I'm saying? Every day. And that's what
because
I figured.
I can see the house where I live at.
Oh, wow.
I see that house every day of my life.
Oh, jeez. Now, I got somebody in Facebook wanting to know, for apparently not familiar with the story, who is Jason?
Jason his name is Jason McKinney. Jason was team lead and founder of the Omega Paranormal team. I will let everyone know that Omega has now dispersed. So Jason is doing other things and is no longer part of Omega. But Jason was the team lead and founder and friend. He was a true friend. And I thank him for him helping me, the way that he did. He saved my life. No matter how it ended, he saved my life. And I will forever be grateful for that.
But
awesome.
You're still haunted by it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's something that's very hard to overcome.
I will never be over it. I will never be over it. I mean, because I know, I don't know if Benji knows this, or even some of the listeners that would know this. I know as soon as I'm sitting here what took the life of my husband. I do know. 2 weeks before, well, let's do this. 3 months before the most worst thing in the world that could ever happen to me happened, he had started changing. He was sweaty, more aggressive. He was wearing different clothes, unshaven, just an odd, it wasn't him at all. I mean, I was married to this man 3 months short of 10 years. I knew him well enough to know that wasn't my husband, 2 weeks before, he was 42 years old, and it was time just to go to a cardiologist and say, let's get a checkup, And he did an EKG, stress test, the echocardiogram, all that fun stuff. Doctor told us he has the heart of a 20-year-old. He's going to be just fine. His heart's in perfect health. I go to Huntington 2 weeks later. I call him the night before, tell him I love him. I'll see him tomorrow morning. I come home, and I actually walked past him 4 times and did not realize it. And what had happened was I found him sitting in the bathroom floor, and he was sitting Indian style. He had his blue jeans on, one sock, and his right arm was up on the sink with his head down. And he was purplish blue, and he had blood coming from every orifice that he had, out his nose, his ears, his eyes, his mouth.
Oh, jeez.
And he was gone. Donnie was gone. The coroner said he had been dead at least 24 hours. And I actually had to step in his blood to get to his body. So it was a lot of blood that was there. When they did the autopsy, they called it like a form of cardiomyopathy, which means a tear in the aorta. But what I also understood was from the coroner is that if you didn't see it 2 weeks prior, which would have been visible at the time, he said something either caused his blood pressure to skyrocket, or it's just something literally scared him to death. Because there was no blockages of any kind. None. No blockages. He really seems to think that his blood pressure just whatever was in that house, something scared that man to death.
Wow.
It's really hard for me, to even ask any questions beyond that, Lori, to be honest with you, but we're going to, and it's one of those things where, you just know, and I'm at a loss for words, Benji, and that never happens.
No, you being at a loss for words never happens. Me being at a loss for words happens a lot, but no, never.
I don't want anyone. I don't want anyone to ever think that they feel sorry for me. I don't want any pity from anyone, because you know something, what I have been through has made me the person that I am, and I know my husband is still with me, and I will tell you why. 6 months after Donnie died, Omega went in to investigate this house, and do you know I have my husband saying his name on audio? 6 months. He said his name 6 months after his death, and I've got that audio. It's actually on YouTube. It's under GBR response Lori Settle, and they can hear Donnie say his name.
GBR response, okay. And
GBR response Lori Settle. Mm-hmm.
I guess the reason I'm so enthralled, Lori, is because I had a similar situation that took place with me. Where I was, I went to my yearly tests that I do. I was fine. I was on good medication. Everything was fine, and then I went through a similar situation with my heart, and I was able to get past that, but only truly after tackling the fear that I personally went through, and I think that's why we were able to connect so strongly. And I swear as God on my witness, it would have been a couple days before I actually went and met Lori up at Van Meter. All of a sudden, on top of my table down here, it looks like an old broken light, and it you know what I mean. There was no way because there were no lights busted, down here in the basement or anything. And my kids, they said the same thing, and I brought that with me because I felt convicted to do so. And it's one of those things, and I think that's why I have such a strong bond, because I tell you it's really serious. And good advice for folks out there that if you think that you're being oppressed in a similar manner, go out and get help, because there's a ton of great folks out there. And and I'm not just beating the tune of my own drum, like Lori, and a plethora of others that can help you at least by the smallest, tenure is getting someone in there to help.
Yeah, I agree. Don't let it consume you, because it will. And when it consumes you, it will take your life. I lived it, because I know that if I not left that house, I would not be sitting here talking to you. I know it tried to kill me. And my daughter had 4 suicide attempts in that house. 4. From the age of 5 to the age of 16, she had 4 suicide attempts in that house.
Now, it was obviously physical with you, and obviously physical, with your husband.
Yes.
How physical was it with Caitlin?
It was more mental with her, because she was dealing with seeing these entities and hearing them more. We were dealing with more of some visual, some physical, mostly physical. And I was the one that was scratched. I was the one that was thrown. I was the one that was punched. I was the one that was bit. And I really think that Donnie did something wrong. He believed in that, the Celtic protection type situation. And he had put a blessing supposedly in the basement. And I really think that he did it wrong. Because he told me, he said, no matter what you do, don't you remove the items that I put in this basement. And I never did. But after Donnie died, it was like all hell broke loose. Katie barred the door here. They're all coming. And that's when me and Caitlin both started to get hurt.
Now, what I've just done is I sent a picture of what happened to me last week. And if you get a chance, you can take a look at it. And if you can't during the show, obviously that's fine. But I'd like to get your take on that, because I know that your abilities are truly amazing. I guess my my biggest question is this: at what point? I mean, was it anger that led you to get rid of the fear when it comes to the darker side of the paranormal, or
Yes.
how did you get past that?
I was mad. And I thought, it had reached whatever this thing was strong enough to rip a hole into this world and take what I loved out of it. A healthy 42-year-old man, the love of my life, and a good man at that. And what kind of person would I be if I did not take the knowledge that I learned for living there for 12 years, become an investigator, and help others that think they're losing their minds too? I don't want them to feel like they're alone, because I felt like I was alone for 12 years. I thought I was going nuts, and I don't want to be that type of investigator. And that's why I always tell people I'm quite different from regular paranormal investigators, because I lived it. I know what someone goes through on a daily basis, but now I handle things quite differently than what most investigators do, because I know how important it is to listen. A lot of times I just want to throw equipment and go. Not me, but some teams. And I'm trying not to sneeze.
Oh, sneeze! You're all right.
Excuse me. I'm sitting outside, so it's happening. And excuse me. So my mind's focus is to use the anger that I had to feed forward and help as many families that need me. This stuff does happen.
Yes, it absolutely does. Now, Jen has sent me a link.
I'm looking that link up right now.
Okay, so
All right.
so I'll let
I'm
you.
going to try to play this through. Let's see if this works. I hope I have the right link here.
Okay. Hopefully, it's not me passing gas.
What's your name?
What's the link?
I think it's your EVP.
Okay.
What a sign. It sounds like it's a dawning.
Too much quiet time. George Turner would have me by the.
Oh, you couldn't hear
proverbial-
that? It played. I played it on mine.
No,
I played it on Facebook's side, so it must not
What's
be
your
playing.
name?
Did you hear it, Benji?
Hold on, let me.
It's a
I'm
very.
going to do what I'm not supposed to do. I'm going to unplug my headphones.
It sounds like
Okay.
it's a dawning.
You will not have any trouble hearing his name.
All right, I'm unplugging my headphones. That's something that you're not supposed to do. And here we go now.
What's your name? Did you hear that? What a sign. It sounds like it's a dawning.
Can't hear it on the speaker side of things.
You still couldn't hear it on the Spreaker side of things?
No.
All right.
Well, hopefully I'll be able to get that link here towards the end. Just go ahead and if you want, just message me the link, and I will get that played for everybody on my side. And what are your first thoughts there, Benji? I can see your eyes like, oh my God.
Oh, I could
Yes.
hear it. I could hear it plain as day. On my
Let
end,
me-
it was amazing. You guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I didn't.
I'm here. I'm here.
It was crazy. Sorry, I'm trying to get everything set back up over here. So
It's okay.
you guys keep right on going. It was just amazing. You could hear the name almost perfectly, at least from where I was sitting. Hopefully, you all out there could hear it too. But
Hey, Chuck, I'm gonna try to play it on this side and see if you can hear it.
okay, there you go. You have it there. All right.
If it'll play.
If it'll play.
Okay.
Okay.
Extremely quiet, but we are waiting, folks. I feel like I'm an NFL broadcaster. We're getting ready for the game-winning kick.
We're waiting for it to play. Just waiting for it to play. Everybody on Facebook, at least, I'm getting a few people on Facebook. They're at least saying that they were able to hear it and they were actually able to make it out.
What was that? I can't hear anything coming out, my end anyway at this point. But we can always try to take a look. And Jen's making fun of me. She's saying, and now a 60-yard punt. Yes, Jen, we are trying to, for sure. Going back to that moment. I mean, you obviously, with your abilities, you knew that your husband was always around anyway and never left. But having that, you know what I mean, that evidence, supporting that had to have made your heart melt.
Oh, when they played that piece, that EVP, I just told everybody, just turn everything off. I had enough. It was an emotional moment for me, and to hear his voice and finding him the way that he had died, to hear his voice again in 6 months' time was something that I definitely needed to hear, but I had enough at that point. I know that he's with me no matter where he is or where I'm at. I know he's always with me. His ashes are still with me to this day.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have in full intentions of ever being too far away from him.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure. So, yeah.
Sorry, I just hit my microphone. I do have a question from the chat room.
Okay.
In Facebook, on the Facebook side of things, Candy wants to know, are you staying within eyesight of that other house to use as a reminder to stay strong, or what is your reason for staying where you're at?
I'm actually staying with family right now. So this is it's an option that I had. I grew up in the home that I'm in now, and I feel strongest here. So whether or not the house is there and I feel it pulling to me every day, I stay here because it's my mother's home and my father's home, and this is where I grew up. And this is my past, my good past. And it kind of gets my mindset straight as to what I have to deal with on a daily basis, because I will carry this with me forever, no matter where I go.
It's that aspect of feeling safe. You know what I'm saying? It's being able to remain safe, and with all of the great past experiences within the house you're currently at. Now, let's go back even further. Let's talk about when you were a child and you had these experiences that you were like, oh my God, this is really happening to me. And I have to ask you this: did you shut off at a certain age, or was it fairly early?
I kind of honed into everything by the age of 13. I was seeing things, and I didn't understand why I was seeing these things. I mean, I would be asleep in the middle of the night, and when I wake up in the morning and knowing that I was awake, and I saw this elderly man standing at the foot of my bed one time. He had on a gray suit and a bright red tie, beautiful smile on his face, just short little thing. And he just kind of cocked his head to the side, and he didn't open his mouth, but I could hear him say, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Well, I was helping my grandmother kind of dust her house and things like that, and come across this picture, and I said, Mama, who is this man? She said, that's my daddy. That's Papa Hamilton. I never met this man. He died the year before I was born. He died April 71. I was born April of 72. And I thought, well, why is he standing at the foot of my bed? But I told her what I saw, and she said, well, that's what he was buried in. How am I supposed to know that?
Yeah. And, my youngest daughter, she really kind of shut down at the age of 13. 13, 14, in which, I look back at the similar experiences, and frankly, it makes my hair stand up a little bit. But she's done that on a couple of occasions. I remember going through. She said that there was this lady, and she was walking around the house. We were going through the old pictures, and lo and behold, we came across Nellie Banks that died giving birth to my father. And it was real interesting because she said, "Daddy, that's her." She's had that. She's done that on multiple, occasions prior to 13. So it's interesting that 13's at that age.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's important to understand too that with me now in the field, I have absolutely no fear. None. I have respect, but I have no fear. And I mean, I've already faced the worst. What else are they going to do to me?
This is a good point.
I have no reason to run. I mean, if they're going to take somebody my size and throw me down a flight of stairs, down 12 stairs, you know, that was when I left. I was at the landing here, 12 stairs to the basement here. I was pushed so hard, I did not hit the stairs till I hit the bottom step. It threw me. And I crawled upstairs, grabbed my daughter, grabbed my purse, and out the door we went. And I didn't go back for a week later with my mother. Now, this is in the middle of summer. We had thrown the breakers in the house because we didn't want to have a bunch of bills that I had to pay. So we threw the breakers, and Mom and I were standing in the bedroom, and all of a sudden we could see each other's breath. She was like, "Do you have your air conditioner on?" And I said, "No, there's no air conditioner on, Mom." But the more we stood there, the colder and colder it got. And then I felt this warm sensation just brush right down the middle of my back, and to the point where I actually broke the skin at the arch of my back. 3 scratches.
Jeez.
But the longer I stood there, the more and more it started to burn. But believe it or not, guys, it actually felt familiar. And I know that's not a good thing to say. It felt like fingers that I recognized. And after 12 years in that house, it's what makes it a little bit more uncomfortable. Okay, hang tight. And so Mom looked at my shirt, and because I kept fidgety, I was real twitchy. Mom said, "Let me look at your, what? Let me look at your back." So she looked at my shirt, and that's when she found the 3 claw marks. And she said, let's just go ahead and leave. I said, I think you're right. You know, let's go ahead and go. And she stopped, and she turned around from me. She was probably 2 feet away from me. And only thing she said to me, she said, "Did I just witness that?" Now, again, you could see our breath the whole time.
Yeah.
And did I just witness that? And as soon as she said that, my head goes back. And shook for a second, kind of knocked me off my feet, and I made eye contact with Mom. And that's when the 3 claw marks showed up down my face. So not only did it punch me in front of my mother, it scratched me in front of my mother. She said, "Lori, you walk out that door and don't you look back. Don't you ever look back. Do not look back."
How long ago did this happen?
It's coming up on 9 years. April will be 9 years.
9 years.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Wow. Okay, so the mathematician in me has to do the math now. So this was 2009, 2008,
2009.
Okay.
9. Oh,
So-
9.
Yeah, Donnie died April the 29th, 2009. I was there for about 30 days after that.
Okay.
Jen in the Spreaker chat made a comment, and maybe you know this, maybe you don't. She stated that she hopes that your husband's spirit, I should say, isn't trapped in the house and is able to come and go as he pleases. Do you know if that happens to be the case?
Donnie is not trapped.
Okay, good.
Donnie's not trapped. No. Donnie is not trapped because we've heard him here. At the house that we live in now. Yeah, we've heard him here.
All right. There is another question from the Facebook chat. I'm trying to get these in as quickly as I can.
Okay.
And in good spots too. I don't really want to interrupt you when you're going through because your story is so compelling. But from all the way back when we first started talking, I missed the question the first time around, and I apologize, Luna, for that. But she was asking, what do eyeless children mean?
Luna, if I knew that question, I think that bitch would have been gone a long time ago. I think these things appear to us in such a way, not only to gain control of our minds and our hearts and our emotions. I think they do it out of fear. Whatever you think it has to be, and I'm not saying do not. I get very irritated when people say demon means negativity, negativity means demon. That's not the case.
Oh no, you
And
can have negative spirits without it being demonic.
absolutely.
Uh-oh.
Using her looks as to be a pro. The warning is her eyes and knowing to keep my distance from her. It's respect of the entity, learning your surroundings, learning research.
Now, are you referring to an eyeless child as being the same thing as like a black-eyed child?
No,
Or is that something completely different?
completely different.
Okay. Just
I
want
think
to
it's
throw
completely
that
different.
difference out there.
Yeah, I think it's completely different. I think the black-eyed children, I always thought them to be of negative doers. Is what I always called them to be. They will more act. The ones that have no eyes, they have a mission of just sheer fear. Children that actually have eyes but they're black, I think, are evil doers.
Okay.
That's the difference between the two.
Now, my hair's standing on end because, I always asked, early on, because my daughter, she, but before she got cut with a razor blade, in a brand new dollhouse that I built for Christmas, she said, "Daddy, there's a little boy upstairs, and I've been playing with him, and he's in suspenders." And I says, "Well, what does his face look like?" And she says, "It has no eyes." So I immediately at that point told her, "Do not communicate with him." And then I kind of took care of business, after that. It's yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to learn. One will instill fear. One will assume control. You just have to learn, and the control one is the one that's out to hurt you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gentlemen, would you mind if I grab a sweater real quick? I'm actually sitting outside in the cold.
You go
you're fine.
right ahead. You go
Okay,
right ahead.
Freezing.
We don't want
Let
you to
me,
freeze.
I can play my old author commercial because I did not download the new ones. How about that?
All right, you go ahead and do that.
All right. This is author Chuck Banks, author of The Death of the Final Saga. You can get all my books on Amazon or on Google Play. The first book, Paranormal Experiences, Death of the Final Frontier, Experiences from Beyond, Death the Final Frontier 2, and Out of the Darkness and Into the Light, Death the Final Frontier 3. Be sure to check out all my books and follow me at Twitter at ChuckBanks1 and on Facebook, Charles Anthony. Stay tuned, folks. It's about to get really wild. And wild really isn't the stinking word for it tonight.
Oh,
Benji.
Gosh. Holy cow.
This
is crazy. This is crazy terrifying is what this is.
Yes, it's one of those things. I do want to take the opportunity to let everybody know the great guests that we have planned, coming up. We will not have a show 1 week from tonight. I will be taking that day off because of the overnight at Ferrell. But a special time, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central to 10 p.m. Central. We're going to have John D'Souza, and he's, the Men in Black, was in the FBI for 20 years. And he's going to be discussing all that good stuff. But anyway, we're going to get back with Lori Settles. Lori, I hope you're warmer outside.
Yeah, I just grabbed a blanket to throw over my legs.
Benji and I were just discussing, this is a very, it's a very compelling show. Now, I do have to ask you this. If, would you go through this again in another life?
In a heartbeat.
Okay.
In a heartbeat. If it helps one person, in a heartbeat. It's worth it. Our life, Donnie's life meant something.
Absolutely.
And my life meant something and means something. And if I do not take this knowledge and run with it, why run from it? We know what happened. I would gladly accept it again.
I don't know why that I'm getting this, but something's coming through saying, "I love you, Schnookums." Okay. Anyway.
Oh, Chuck. You're something else, brother. You're something else.
Hey, sometimes spirit, I tell you what, spirit works in an amazing facet at times,
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. That made a smile in my heart. I knew who that is.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I had to say it. I had to say it. And I just want everyone to know in Facebook and Spreakerland that George M.F. Turner is in the chat room. Hello, George.
Hi, George. George knows my story all too well.
Yeah, yeah.
And if anybody actually wants to watch the show, you can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's really good. But I tell you what, listening to you tell the story, it really gives it more justice, in my opinion. But that's from my side of it.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a lot of things that happened over 12 years. Of course, they can't put on film. But it was a heck of an experience to be part of that. When I turned in all the evidence from that location, they just couldn't, because they were just we were part of National the Paranormal Society. They were calling local paranormal teams to see if they had any experience outside of the team. And the only thing I said to the producer was, I said, does being thrown down the stairs count for anything? She said, wait a minute. Just back up and tell me the whole story.
Yeah.
Well, when I did, and I told her that I had all the evidence, she said, wait a minute, you need to talk to such and such person. Well, bing, bang, boom, and here's the show. So,
Man. Now let's go all the way back to the beginning. What made you purchase this?
And now I've lost both Chuck
And when did the activity
now
start?
we're back. Okay.
okay. Now say that again, Chuck, because everything cut out for a second.
Which is strange tonight. Anyway, let's go all the way back to the beginning. What made you purchase this particular house, and then when did when and what took place at the beginning where you knew that shit was getting real here?
Well, we got the house. It was actually a rental. We decided to do this because everybody knows how high rent is. But the little old lady that had the property, she had known me since I was 4 years old. And she knew that I was struggling. I was a single mom. Donnie was not Caitlin's real father, but he raised her as his own. And we were just really trying to get on our feet. So she told me, she said, you can rent this place for $300 a month. I'll help you get on your feet. No security deposit, no lease sign, no nothing. And with me working as a hairdresser, that was just perfect to kind of get our feet into our own home. It was just a 2-bedroom cottage is all it was. It was just something simple. And we loved it. We loved living there.
Now, let's see. We do have a question from Jen. Is this place currently occupied? And then if it is, she wants to know if the new residents have experiences, or do you know?
Yes, I do know. I know several stories about this house. People don't stay there long. The first people that took the location after I had left the house was actually a customer of mine. I did hair for 25 years. And she was a customer of mine for 17 years. I've known this person. And I showed her the evidence from the house, told her all about it, told her not to take it as a rental. And she did anyway. And one night in the middle of the night, anywhere between 2 and 4, because she always got up about 4:30 to go to work, she left that house, and she will not, to this day, talk to me.
Of course.
She will not talk to me. The next people that moved in, he has a 2-year-old. Now, what 2-year-old would even know this word? Because you protect your children at an early age. It's not what it is. She walked into the house where Caitlin stopped and said, "Look, Mommy, ghost." Well, but she was a little older. But his 2-year-old walks into the living room and she says, "Look, Dada, ghost." Oh. And pointed to the same spot that Caitlin's pointed whenever she was little.
Oh, jeez.
"I want you to come back down here into this house." I said, No, call another team. Mm-hmm. I'll give you some information, but I'm not getting back in that house.
No.
I said, here's my advice. Leave now.
Run fast.
Advice. Yeah.
So do they still live in the house?
But they're in the process of packing now.
I'm supposed to tell you, while there's a little bit of downtime here, Candy wanted me to tell you that episode just re-aired on TV a day or so ago. She just watched it again.
She watched it again? Well, thank you for watching it. It plays every year over and over and over again. I get messages on Facebook. You're on TV again. You're on TV again.
Jeez.
And I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Oh, great.
You're on TV again.
Hey, all you TV fanatics, I got to hug her. So kiss my white butt. There you go.
But no, I was told to tell you, so there, I did my job. I told you.
Well, thank you very much for letting me know. I love to know when it's on air. I do, because I know whenever it's on air is when the messages start. So at least it gives me a free run to see what I got to do first.
There you go.
Yeah, everybody's going to be saying, yeah, Chuck, sure. It was perfect timing to have her on your show, buddy. She was on TV. Oh man, it's yeah. Candy says, "Zip it, Chuckles." I'm trying. Oh man. No, let's kind of fast forward, and now that you're in your comfort space, which you are. Mm-hmm. Do you notice, Lori, that a lot of your cases, are they darker than most investigators get?
Yeah,
have you noticed that?
I have noticed that. I don't want them to be, but it has a tendency to go that way.
I'm right there
Benji,
with you. I know how that goes.
Benji, I have to ask you this question. Does that sound familiar with me?
Yep. Between the three of us right now, I think that's a common denominator right there. Most paranormal investigators would never get as many dark cases as the three of us have probably ever gotten.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I have no fear of them. None.
None. You really can't have fear of them and be able to go in and do anything about it. Because if you go in with fear, then that fear controls you throughout the night.
Yeah, you have to be mentally stable, mentally ready, emotionally checked, mentally checked, because whatever's there is going to know what your weakest link is.
Yes.
And if you don't have your balls in a row, or your ducks in a row, you're going to get hurt. You're going to have an attachment. You're not going to know how to deal with it, because it's going to already be smarter than you to begin with. Don't give it that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You become stronger than it before you even walk through the door. You become stronger than that thing is.
Absolutely. Well, we're all already stronger than whatever that thing is, because we exist in a physical form right now. It is no longer in a physical body, in a physical form. At the most, it only has energy to work with, to manipulate things.
Right.
Where we have our will, our emotions, our power, and our physical being. We're already way more than one up on them.
Oh yeah. We survived.
You just have to respect it, because if you don't respect it and you're not grounded and you're not in a good you're not in a good phase, it can come back. That's the scary part,
Absolutely. Whenever we moved up here with my mom, the first thing I did was have this house blessed, because I did not want to have to go down that road or have anything follow us here. It was the first thing I did. I brought a Catholic priest in, and I had every room in this house blessed. We had to, because things were picking up here, and I did not want that thing up here to hurt my mother. I did not want her to have to see what I had seen and deal with what I had dealt with. I needed some peace of mind, and this was my only sanity, was to believe in faith and believe in God, and it was how I got through it. A lot of people find other things to get through them, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Whatever helps you get through what you're going through. But with me, it was my belief in God that got me through it.
Yeah, and I think it's important. No matter what your choice of faith, you have to find that strong balance, that firm balance of the higher, you know what I mean, the higher source, and roll with it. And so many people, they dabble here and they dabble there, on certain different philosophical methods, and a lot of times
people hurt.
Yes, absolutely, and that's. I look back at my transformation when I said, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to walk in the shoes of Christ. I'm going to be a healer. I'm going to promote everything that he was about, and not what the church or the man-made facet, brought about with that. And if I hurt anybody, anybody's feelings out there, know that I truly believe in Christ. I love Christ, but it's different. It's different when you're spiritual versus religious, in my opinion.
Yes, it is. It's what the individual chooses to make them feel better, to what they worship and things like that. You have to respect all religions and all faiths and all walks of life. What gets them through it may not work for me, but as long as it helps them, I say go for it. You're not hurting anyone.
Sure, for sure. Now, you kind of brought us into it. What do you do to protect yourself, your family, your team members, and what form of faith? I'm going to guess that it's some form of a spiritual Christianity, but I want to hear your take on it.
We believe in prayer. We believe it is Christianity. We believe in prayer of protection. We pray for a good investigation. We pray for the families that before we go in, for protection and to keep his hands on everyone there, so no one gets hurt, because we know what things can actually turn into. And then before we leave, we pray for God to protect the families that when we leave them in that situation. And we also let the spirits know that they're not permitted to leave, that God will keep them there where they belong. They do not belong with us. We kind of close all circles in prayer and with God in the middle, he's always with us. He's always with me. But my faith is why I'm sitting here. I think my story is important to a lot of people because that's what makes me quite a bit of a different investigator. Having lived it, turned investigator, it makes it a little bit different for me in the field. I know what these families live like, and I don't want them to think that all these investigators don't understand. Well, that's not the case, because there are investigators out there that have lived it like I have and will listen and can help. But they also have to accept the help that we give them.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's
I mean,
the big one.
Too many times people say they want help or they act like they want help, but they don't walk the walk.
No, they say help me, but they want us to do all the work when in turn really they have to get mad enough to reclaim their space, get ready to fight, use their faith and to push that thing away. That's the only way that you're going to make it leave to begin with. The family has to lay claim to it. No fear, no anger, no hesitation. You have to have a backbone when you fight these things. You cannot show any kind of fear at all. You don't hold anything back. You fight with your heart. You keep your anger and your head in check. Your emotions have to be in check and focused. And there are so many things that people can get hurt in so many ways, and they need to be smart. And if they don't know how to guide themselves in that kind of direction, then they need to get a hold of a paranormal investigator like ourselves, so we can help guide them with the right words that they need to say before someone gets hurt or has an attachment that they don't know how to get rid of.
Absolutely.
At the very least, shut yourself off until help arrives.
Exactly. Remove yourself from the situation, because the more and more you sit in the middle of a dark room or a dark bubble, that dark bubble is going to become stronger, and you're just going to sit there and kind of wither away. You have to learn how to fight.
Absolutely.
Looks like Benji has some questions in the chat room. I'll let him fly.
Sorry, I was listening. I wasn't even paying attention to the chat room. Hold on here. You liar. No, I do have, we had Christine Holiday join. She's asking, Lori, how are you doing tonight? So,
fine.
Jen is asking, does Lori have a theory as to why the house is plagued with this darkness?
Oh, hey, there it is.
Yes. Yes, I do.
She also asked where it's located, but you don't have to give specifics just to protect your privacy. So.
Yeah, I can't do that. I signed a confidentiality contract, but I can't give the location of the home. I can say it's in West Virginia. And what was the first question, Benji?
Do you have a theory as to why the house is plagued with this darkness?
Yes, I do. After things started to happen, things like that, my mother told me, she said, Lori, go research the house, learn about it. So I asked a few questions in town. I live in a very small town. There's only one red light here. Everybody knows everybody here. And went to the courthouse and had done some research and had found out that there was a suicide in that house in the basement back in the 1940s. Know his name. I found out his wife's names, his children's name. He did lose a child and at an early. age. But he was, from what I have understood, his family, his ancestors say that he was just a mean SOB. All he did was drink and stay drunk, and he hit his wife all the time. And he was a coal miner here. So when I found out he had committed suicide in the house, I think that's what's pretty much kind of started the dark history of that house. Was him.
Mm.
Jeez. Right? That's kind of a chills down my spine going on right now situation.
Hey, we are close to Halloween, but I do have to throw this out from one person with abilities to the other. Have you noticed that that activity is picking up earlier this year?
Yeah, I've noticed that.
In years past?
Yeah, I've noticed that. It seems like whenever Halloween starts to come around, it's just getting closer and closer to where things are a little bit stronger for people like Chuck and I. More aware of everything that's around you. They seem to show themselves more early this year.
Yes, and something's walking behind me right now and trying to take my energy. You cannot have my energy there. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Anyway.
Though, if you are there behind Chuck, if you want to move that doll one direction or the other that's sitting in the closet.
Okay, burning some sage. Oh shit! It won't light. Okay.
just for Jen. Just move the doll just for Jen and Luna. They would love that. Candy's got another question. She says, "Do you think it's possible that he picked up on dark energy while down in the mines?"
I haven't really thought about that, but I guess anything could be possible. He was just an evil man, a living evil human being, and I mean it's a possibility because around here there's a lot of Indian burial grounds, and part of the Indians fought here, and Civil War was fought here.
Oh, she brought up the myth of the Tommy knockers, etc. That kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. No.
It's I mean it's all viable. You know, it's one of those things where I would assume that you'll never ever walk foot in that house again.
Never. Not for $1 million would I walk in that door.
Yeah.
Never. No. Last time I was in that house, it tried to kill me. For the second time, I'm not going to give it the third.
No.
That's probably a smart move. I'm going to say that's probably a smart move. Yeah.
Not doing it. Not doing it. I mean, I've been approached to write a book. I've been approached to do so many things with this story. And all I want to do is help people. That's all I want to do. You know, education is key when it comes to living like this and dealing with things like this. And if you don't do the research to educate yourself, then what in the world are you going to know what you're battling? You have to educate yourself.
Share the story, and you know what? I'm kind of in the same boat. I did write all those books, but really, at the end of the day, it's about helping folks, so they don't have to go through a lot of the the darker stuff that you can go through. You know what I mean, on a daily basis. Which there's a lot of thrill seekers out there, Lori, that would say, "Oh yeah, I want this to happen," all that sort of crap. They have no clue. They have no clue what kind of doors they can open.
Be careful
because it's not if it will come true, it's when. It's one of those things. The provocators. I call them.
Be careful what you wish for, because they will make their presence known, and sometimes you'll know how to get rid of them, and sometimes you won't.
Absolutely.
And that's when people can get hurt very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Been there, done that.
George has a little Halloween funny little icon in the chat. Good job, George.
Jen said that a friend of hers bought a creepy doll to do art with, but was so creeped out by it, she decided to send it to Jen instead. And Chuck, I gotta tell you, on the Facebook side of things, they have decided to dub your doll the Chuckster.
The Chuckster, huh? little Chucky doll back there. You know, it's careful what I wish for. I don't wish for it to move at all, but that's me, and I'm sure that on Facebook land they're like, move it. You know, it's one of those things. Anyway, hey, let's we're starting down our last 50 minutes or so. Let's shift gears to some more exciting. Well, it's all exciting, Lori, but let's talk about your abilities, your gifts.
Okay.
What obviously you're clairaudient, clairsentience, clairvoyant, all of those mixtures. But can you share some of your experiences as you've started to grow and blossom in this extraordinary field of mediumship?
Hi, let's see. One of the things I can tell you was I was actually getting ready to go to New York. I can give you kind of an instance because I've never really known what I was. I just thought I was me. Hang on one second. Just give me a second, Caitlin. And we went to a shoe store. I was buying shoes to go to New York City because they had invited us to go to the premiere release up in New York. And they, plane tickets and all that, and they come and got us. And went to the shoe store in Huntington, and I have never been in that shoe store. Did not know the girl. Well, whenever I approached her and told her what kind of shoe I was looking for, when she kind of looked at me kind of funny, when she found them, I was at this end of the aisle. She dropped them on the opposite end of the aisle, and she said, they're right here, and she said, wave your collar if you need me. Like she was avoiding me, and I thought, uh-huh. So when we went to go check out, and I looked at her, and I said, I am so sorry. She said, for what? I said, for the loss of your son. She just kind of shook her head and dropped to her knees, and she said, how do you know that? And Mom said, just listen to her. And I said, for some reason, I hear him, but I hear him like he's in water, and I don't understand why. And she started just boohooing and rocking back and forth. And she said, how do you know that, Mom? And Mom told her, she said, well, she's a medium. She's a clairvoyant. She's something. She's just gifted. And she said, my son died at 35 weeks in utero. I would not have done that. And I told her, I said, he's going to try to talk to you, but he's going to do it through laughter. I said, you need to pay attention to all the sounds that are around you. She said, how do you know that? She said, you are the real deal. And I said, why do you say that? She said, not only a week before, she was at her mother's house, and they were hugging each other, comforting each other over the loss of her child. And she said, when they were hugging each other, they felt a wall of energy run through them. And whenever it went through them, on the other side of them, they both heard a child giggle. How would I have known that?
Ooh. Hair standing on end right now. I mean, that's crazy.
Not
that anybody can see that, but just in case you can see that, I mean, on both arms. I mean, hair standing on end. Yeah. It is crazy.
I have to oblige with Lori because when Spirit speaks, you have to speak it, or sometimes it isn't very much fun. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because they're screaming in your damn ear. It's crazy.
I had one case to where I was helping a family try to move on from the loss of their daughter, and I had to call her mother at 3:00 in the morning one day. I said, would you please tell your daughter to quit singing that damn Chinese song? And her mother burst into tears and cries at the same time, and it's happy tears and sad tears. I said, what in the world is she singing? She said she's singing happy birthday because it was her birthday, but she's singing in Chinese because that's how her father sang to her.
Really?
Yeah, and I called her. I said, would you please tell your daughter to stop singing that damn Chinese song? It literally woke me up.
Man. Somebody's dinging.
That was me. Matt Bennett messaged me just now.
Damn you, Matt. I know
Matt, don't you know we're doing a show right now, man?
Jeez. Hey, you'll have your Lori on Thursday night, so leave us the hell alone. Come on. Oh man. Now let's engage, shall we? Can you read Benji?
Can I
haven't
read?
tried.
What? Me? Read? Can she read me?
Yeah.
Well,
I will only do it with your permission. I will not do it without your permission. To me, I consider it an invasion of privacy.
Thank you. That's actually the same way I look at it, but you do have my permission to do so. You do have, as soon as I am done yelling at Matt.
Okay.
Oh man, I tell you, it's it truly has been an amazing night having you on, Lori. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I should have had you on a year ago.
And
sorry, check.
No.
Just focusing, Matt. I mean, see, now we're talking about Matt. Sorry.
Yeah, don't focus on Matt. I don't want to know what's going on in Matt's life. I gotta wait for my Facebook and stuff to load back up so I can see the chats again, just in case someone said something. So much silence for Spreaker.
I know. George Turner is already stomping his feet on the ground. I don't know what's going on.
I'm focusing, George. I'm focusing.
Candy's playing Jeopardy music. I'm just messing.
That was some of the other Jeopardy music. I haven't had anybody ask me to do a read on live radio, but I'll be happy to try.
it's always that a-hole Chuck that does that sort of thing. It's one of those.
Pretty
things.
much. That's about right. And he always does that sort of thing to me, or whoever it is he happens to have guest hosting with them, or if he's on someone else's shows. But it's usually always me.
And then George Turner has 3 seconds. Okay, George, we're working on those 3 seconds.
We love you, George.
Oh, jeez.
Are you ready now, Benji?
Yep, go for it.
I need you to do me a favor first.
Okay.
Take your glasses off.
Oh, buddy. Sorry, everybody in the chats. I have to say this right now. Everybody in the chats, if you say anything, I am not going to be able to see a dang thing you say right now. So just, I will get to you in a little bit, but she needs to do her reading on me. So let's do this.
I need you to look straight into the camera.
So if I flip him off, you can't see me.
Just give me a second.
No, I wouldn't be able to see you even if I looked at you. Even though it appears I'm looking at
Okay, Benji, I have a question.
Okay.
You've had some struggles in your life.
Oh. Few.
You have self-doubt has not really been your issue. But accepting other people's help has not been your forte either.
This is probably true.
You are very strong-headed.
That is very true.
You are very strong-headed. Wow. Who's the woman that's passed?
Probably have to narrow that one down a little bit more.
She says she was... She says she's close to you, but you don't know that how close she is to you. She's confusing me.
Okay.
It's like the relationship is there, but it wasn't there.
Benji, you have the most beautiful blue eyes.
That's where my children get it from.
Self-doubt has never really been your problem. Never been your problem. You're very headstrong. You're very headstrong. And sometimes you've made wrong decisions, and sometimes you made right. You're stubborn.
Yes, very much so. I am very stubborn.
You're very stubborn.
But when I make a bad decision, and I finally come to realize that it was a bad decision, I own up to it.
You do. You don't run away from it. No, you don't. You take responsibility of it. You do. Yeah. You have an amazing heart. You do.
Well, thank you.
Your heart's in the right place. Let's put it that way.
At least it's not in your anus.
Chuck, you're destroying this.
I'm sorry.
It's not very often I let anybody read me.
Hey,
so.
Hey, Lori's lashing out right now. I'll behave.
What's up? Oh, okay. Says I stopped myself because I feel like I'm making an idiot of myself. What's up with the motorcycle? Why am I hearing a motorcycle? Something revving.
I had a motorcycle a long time ago, but it's been gone for years now.
Okay, well, that energy is still around you.
Okay.
It's still part of you. Does that make sense?
Yes and no, I guess. I rode it like 3 times, so I don't know. I'm trying to think family wise if there's anything motorcycle related, and other than my ex family, no, nothing else that I can think of.
I hear it revving. I hear it revving, like a revving motorcycle.
Interesting.
I've done raids with people, they'll be thinking an hour later, that's what she meant.
True.
It would not be the first time that has happened for me, too. It would not be the first time that has happened for me.
Okay. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, Luna says B is a badass, a stubborn, big-hearted badass. Luna, I think he has a big ass, but I'll just throw that out.
Oh, I can see again.
Oh, he sees the light. Anyway, I'm sorry to put you on the spot like that, Lori, without asking you first. So I apologize on that. So.
That's okay.
Oh man,
you're lucky I said yes, Chuck.
I know. I know.
Let very few people read me before.
Did anything I said make sense?
Most of what you said makes sense. The lady is perplexing me because the only person I can think of that was close to me would be my grandmother, but she passed several years ago now. But as far as being close to me and me not knowing how close we are or were, I guess that's the part that confuses me. But
probably once he's passed on and the distance is already there, you're not as close as you used to be.
That could be.
That's what that pertains to. Yeah. Do we have any other questions?
No, and surprisingly, none coming from the chat room. Shame on you, chat folks.
No, nobody's asking me anything right now.
It's crazy. Well, how many cases have you taken on in the last 30 days or so?
We are working on one right now, private residence. She contacted me because her children refused to stay at the house after dark. And we went out there and set up some cameras, and we actually just regular digital cameras. We had video. We had full batteries when we walked in the door, and all of our batteries were dead within a half hour. The water was turning on and off. The TV was getting turned on and off. So we decided just to kind of turn everything off, unplug everything, pull the breakers pretty much. We set the camera down on the stove facing into the bedroom and off pictures every 15 seconds. And we caught this entity standing in the doorway. It looks like a skeleton with just loose skin on it. And you see teeth, you see these funky hair, you see eyes, green eyes, you see the nose, you can see the square shoulders. I mean, it just doesn't look like a pleasant thing wanting to play. But as we were leaving that night, she closed the curtains in all the house. And then above the kitchen sink, when we got to our vehicles, we saw the curtain just slide right over.
Oh, what do you suppose the significance behind the green eyes represents? I mean, I've heard red and darker black, but green.
Green. They're just green little dots, but you can see them plain as day. She had got a picture to me because she was home alone and she was taking a selfie in the bathroom. Oh Lord, help us!
This is for Candy. This is for Candy and only for Candy.
Oh,
Jesus.
Okay. She took the picture of a selfie and she was home alone. When she sent me the picture, there's a man standing behind her. You can see facial features, eye sockets, nose, teeth, bald-headed, white bald head, white face, white hands, black suit. So we went down there that evening to run some equipment, and our equipment was dead within the half hour. But the rest of the night, it was mostly visual. All of the team experienced cold spots, rolling energy. There was one point, 3 of the investigators were in the living room, and we could see like rolling mist, like it was rolling this way, but rolling backwards into the bedroom. And 3 investigators saw that. Tall black masses, a lot of knocks, whispers. Things were being thrown. Caitlin said she laid in the bed because the woman claimed when she laid in her bed in the dark, she felt like she was being held down by her shoulders. So Caitlin offered herself as bait, and the same thing happened to Caitlin.
Oh.
Her arms were like jello. I told her, I said, get out of this place and do not go back until an investigator is with you, or we come back with more team and more equipment, because whatever's there has a full intent of hurting someone there. And this woman is in remission from cancer. She has leukemia. And she doesn't need to be dealing with things like this right now. And she's just easy bait for anything like that that's down there around her.
What did you personally feel? I mean, you obviously had evidence, but I mean, what did you personally or spiritually feel?
Hatred. Hatred. You walk into the living room, you walk past the welcome mat, and you walk into a wall of just sheer out and out heaviness. I mean, it's really hard to breathe. You feel like you have bricks sitting on your chest. Answer. And feel like you have bricks sitting on your chest, and it doesn't seem to like women, especially strong women. And it got to the point where I was calling it out, and probably within the half hour I would be. And as soon as I would walk in, things would kind of calm down. They would not stop. But I would leave the house and leave the other investigators in, and was like all hell would break loose. I think it's afraid of strong women. It doesn't like women. It wouldn't mess with the men. The men were seeing these things and hearing these things, but as when it comes to being touched or having our hair pulled or anything, which all of us experienced that as well. I think it's a very highly intelligent situation. We just need to get our research done to know exactly who we're dealing with.
Wow. Yeah, it's and I tell you, anytime that there's kids involved, it really sets the anger in me. You know what I mean? To fight these things, even more so. Yeah, it's one of those things.
The children are 7 and 2, and the 2-year-old, he tells his mommy, my ceiling is breathing. I mean, I laid in there on the bed to see if there was any kind of optical illusion, funhouse effect, anything like that, to where I could kind of mimic as to what he would be seeing. There's nothing there with the ceiling on the pattern on the ceiling that would cause any kind of optical illusion. There's nothing there, but I will tell you there is a wall of thickness that walks right through his bedroom. I mean, you can walk right into a wall, and then when you walk out of it, you can feel the difference in the air. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's the case that we're working on now. And she's ready to move. She's lived in this house in less than a year, but it's been in her family for over 20 years. And it would be wrong of me to tell her, I can't help you with this. I have to at least try to give her family home back.
For sure. For sure. Did you hear that?
I heard something.
Did you hear feedback? I don't know what the hell it was. That hasn't happened all night. I was going to share this too because Lori and I also share. Both our daughters are cats.
Yes.
And Lori is marrying a Chuck. and I have to throw this out there. My wife was also born in April.
Spirit puts people together for a reason.
You just can't make this shit up. I mean,
no, you can't. And my husband's last name begins with a B.
Yes. So it's going to be Lori B. And I have a sister-in-law, Lori B. Anyway, it's
hey Chuck.
It
Chuck,
is.
Someone's got a question for you in the Facebook chat. A Mr. I call him Mr. Taco, but a Mr. Brandon Gifford would like to know from you if ghost tacos exist.
I really can't. I really can't tell you for sure, Brandon. But I will tell you that sometimes when you fart, you can't see the air. So I would say that you can make ghost tacos yourself. Anyway.
That's amazing. That is amazing you said that because Candy said only in the gaseous state, Brandon.
Yes, Brandon.
How true.
We passed that ghostly gas after you eat Taco Bell. Anyway. Fun stuff. Do you have any events coming up?
Me? No, actually, no. After I work on this case, we're gonna go to try to hit Weston during Halloween, Weston Insane Asylum. They do a lot. We're gonna do some of their ghost tours there. We're also gonna go shoot some zombies while we're up there. They're doing the zombie hayride.
Nice.
You paint the paintballs, and then the zombies come in after you, and you fire them up with paintballs. I think that'd be fun. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
Until your daughter turns
we'll go
around
shoot some
and
zombie in the ass.
Oh, that's.
But other than that, I'll be kind of taking a hiatus. Other than the radio, I won't be in the field or anything like that. I have some surgeries coming up, so got to get better first. Yeah,
for sure. And I will be sending out nothing but prayers and healing and all that sort of stuff to you. As you mend up, and we definitely appreciate you coming on. Can you say how excited you are to be a part of Introspection with the Matt Bennett?
I love Matt. Matt did my radio show when I was with George, and we kind of, I'm sorry, it was before George, another network that I was on, and my guest canceled at the last minute, and the radio DJ that was in charge of it kind of knew Matt. And he said, we need to fill up. So he put me in contact with Matt. Matt did my show for the very first network that I was on. And it was like instant connection between Matt and I. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. And he's a great friend. He really is. He knows his stuff. He does. Love him.
Matt's got that voice. But I do have to ask you about the ghost that's on Introspection. His name's Sean.
Oh, Sean. I recommended that we have a show that Sean was the guest, and he had no choice but to answer.
It's I'm not making fun of Sean or by any stretch of the imagination, but I remember Matt says, "Hey Sean, do you have any questions for the guest?" No. And then that was it. No. Oh my goodness.
He lives. He's alive.
Okay. So
the ghost show.
Yes. Jen saying the ghost Sean. That's pretty awesome. Let me ask you this question. Do you think it's possible to have para-unity?
Do I think it's possible to have paraunity? Well,
Yeah.
it could be taken a couple different ways. I think anything is possible. I think it's possible. I think it depends on the living.
Okay.
Yeah.
All depends on
What
how.
what do you think it would take to, let's say, all these different paranormal teams to actually create this huge database and throw in all their information in there and to share it? Wouldn't that be awesome?
I think we should be able to do that. But unfortunately, there's just so much criticism out there. So many people knock everything down that you think is real, and somebody else is going to try to tear it apart. That happened to me not too long ago, and it's horrible that you can't post a picture just to get someone else's opinion. And I did not take the picture; a family member did, and I have me being personally attacked, that calling me a fake person because I refused to take the picture down. And I said, first and foremost, one, I'm not taking the picture down. Two, I'm just asking for everyone's piece's opinion. But if I take that picture down, Caitlin's coughing.
Okay, I was just checking.
Yeah, they really want me to take the picture down. I said, no, absolutely not. This is how we learn.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we learn. If I take that picture down, the bullies win, and I'm not gonna let that happen.
For sure. Now, I did shoot you a picture via Facebook Messenger. Did you have a chance to read that, or do you have that ability?
No, not. Let me see.
I want to get your take on it.
It might take just a minute to pull up.
Oh, that's fine. And right now, while we have 3 seconds, Benji will be explaining the difference between Sasquatch and Will Conkle.
I gotta find the differences first.
Oh, I love Will. Mm-hmm. Good luck with that.
Will Conkle has less hair. He has
Yes.
less hair now. He got a haircut, so he has shorter hair. Shorter hair. Not as short as mine. Mine's pretty short. I do have hair right now. You can't really see it. I feel very bald. But, yeah. Will did get a haircut, so he doesn't have shoulder-length flowing locks anymore.
Looks good. Looks good. I do want to take this opportunity. I guess ticket sales are a little bit slow. So if you're interested in checking out Ferrell for the 2-day event, it's coming up this Friday and Saturday. Go to thehauntingatferrell.com. Get your ticket ahead of time. I will not be there on Friday night, but Coyote Chris Sutton, Josh Heard at CNH Paranormal will be there. I will be there on Saturday, large and in charge. Well, not in charge, but excited about that.
In charge is Will Conkle's job.
Yes. And the last time, I just got to throw this out there to Will. Will, I did not spit in your trash can on my last trip.
Ooh, hey, you know what? He'll like that. He likes it when you don't spit in his trash can. As long as you also didn't spit on the floor.
Yes, and he does not like me talking in the third person.
No. He also doesn't like it when you leave a present in the restroom upstairs on the third floor.
Oh God! At the very last event, he had. Did he have to take that out with his bare hands?
No, I think they had to use a paper towel or something to get it out.
Okay,
it's like a burn check.
Well, I can send you a couple more pictures, but I will tell you this: if you zoom in, you can almost see teeth marks.
Okay. Let me find you.
Funny, George. Oh yeah, Jen saying, "Ew, chewing tobacco." Jen, your own husband spits. Come on. Okay.
Yeah,
I've got the.
Yep, you can see that. I see what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. I actually have five pictures I'll shoot your way, but that actually took place a week and a half back or so, or maybe a week. I'm not sure. Yeah, it was. I think it was on Labor Day, and I felt a burning in the shower, and it's the second time that something's happened in the shower, and it actually went away rather fast, which I thought was interesting.
Think of it this way: you were in the shower where water was moving.
Mm-hmm.
Water is a natural conduit. If anything's around, it's going to give it the energy it needs to whatever it do what it wants to do.
But the good news is I was not afraid.
There you go.
Fear. No fear.
No fear. Number one rule: no fear, no panic, no hesitation.
For sure. You
I've
get any vibes off of it?
The pictures,
Yeah.
it's a nasty thing. No major vibes. I take it as a warning.
Mm-hmm.
I take it as a warning.
Do you get the feeling that it could be somebody sending malice or intent versus the entities sending the warning themselves?
Anytime you're bitten, anything like that, it's supposed to say that you are marked. Not necessarily marked with a number, but they have marked you for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Those types of things are supposed to have a lot of strength. But that I just don't know. If you were in person, it'd be a different story. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's it is always awesome to get others' opinions and spiritual ideas behind that. And you know what? It would be so nice if the rest of our paranormal world would do the same. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, I think everyone has an opinion, but I think everybody's opinion doesn't need to be your opinion. But I think everybody's opinion just might solve a problem.
Absolutely.
And if everybody would put their heads together, and so many cases would be solved rather than go unsolved, and so many more families could be hurt if ego would get out of the way.
Absolutely. For sure. Like Chuck said, if we were to have one location where we could upload all of our pictures, all of our video, and have everybody have access to it to be able to analyze it and go through all of the evidence and find all of the multiple redundancies and all the audio and everything, and not have people maliciously criticizing each other. Not have them, if there is criticism, make it constructive criticism, figure out ways to hold cameras steadier or making sure that people call things out when they accidentally make a noise on a digital recorder, that kind of thing, but not being mean or rude about it.
Exactly.
And not just straight up, not the trolls out there that are just straight up calling everything fake, calling everything in the field fake, and bringing people down and bullying them literally over it. But a place where only investigators are allowed to go in and view items, and they have to do it with respect. Everybody has to respect everybody else.
I agree. I agree completely. I think we should all have that type of forum to where we can learn from everything that is posted, whether it be accurate or not accurate. We all learn from evidence.
Absolutely.
Whether it's good or fake, we need to learn how to analyze the difference between a fake photograph or what the real photographs would look like. Everybody has an opinion, but I think if it's done respectfully, everyone would learn more.
Absolutely.
Come in with an open mind.
Yes.
And definitely look to try to help people instead of and that doesn't go to show one or two fakes, they end up ruining it for all of us that are in it for a more serious nature.
Say that again, Chuck.
One or two fakes, is basically all it takes for some of the folks out there, though, to basically get on that other bandwagon. Which
one fake person will hurt it all. Hurt it for everybody.
For sure. Benji, any questions in the game room?
No, not that I am seeing. I'm just making sure that we don't have any questions. Candy is labeling Jen with one N. Again, always Jen with one N, not two N's. And Jen states that the trolls are just projecting their self-hate, which is true. That is very true.
Give me just a minute. You're fine.
Brandon says spirits are fake, but we all know Brandon is fake. So I'm just kidding,
Okay.
Brandon. I'm just kidding, and I know you're kidding too.
I hope he is, because I can say I know different.
He's just kidding. He's just kidding. He's being sarcastic.
And believe it or not, I welcome skeptics. I
Yes.
absolutely love them.
Absolutely. Skeptics make the best investigators sometimes.
Absolutely. Absolutely they do. I've converted a couple of them, you know.
I personally feel like it's always good to bring, not necessarily have one on your team, because if there's one on your team, they don't usually stay skeptical long. But
Not long.
definitely always good to bring at least one skeptic along with you. Because sometimes you can get so caught up in what's going on. And this is coming from me, a paranormal investigator who does not have any open psychic abilities anyway at this point in time. So literally it's just the feelings, the vibes, that's all I get. I don't get anything more than that. But I do use my body as the number one investigative tool that I have. But bringing in a skeptic, sometimes I can get into the heat of the moment. A lot of investigators will get into the heat of the moment, and they just think everything that's happening, it just starts going, not everything, but it just kind of starts snowballing, and you're getting a lot of activity, and then all of a sudden everything is activity. Sometimes it's nice to have that skeptic there to pull you back in and say, no, that was more than likely just this, what you're hearing. Let's calm down a little bit and go through some of this stuff. And it really makes you second guess some of the things that you're seeing or hearing. You're seeing the stuff on video. I got to share Chuck brought up Ferrar's event coming up, and I got to share one of the best pieces of evidence I have ever personally debunked. Was at Ferrar, and we had a night vision camera set up, and this is where being a semi-skeptic is a good thing. Had a night vision camera set up. And I don't go crazy over orbs. Nobody in my team, Ministers of the Haunted, goes crazy over orbs. But we had come across the screen what I would call by far the best orb we have ever seen. It came down. There was a ball on the gym floor. It came down, went around the ball, like completely circled around the ball perfectly. Then went through the ball and disappeared. And we tried everything. We had a guy down there with a flashlight, laser lights. We tried everything to try to figure out, what it could be. Make sure it wasn't a bug crawling around on the floor or something. And then it showed up again. I just happened to, and this was about an hour later, it showed up again. I just happened to shine my flashlight down from right behind the camera. Lo and behold, not 2 feet in front of the camera, a spider was spinning a web, and the camera was picking up the spider, but it wasn't showing any of the details. So it just looked like a little ball of light. But that's where we were all super excited to have this piece of evidence show up, and then little old me comes along and just bums everybody out. But that's what the investigation is all about. Being able to differentiate between what's real, what's really happening there, and what you think is going on.
And that's I think that's extremely important, to definitely be able to do those sorts of things too. Lori, share with everybody your personal contact information, all that sort of stuff, if they'd like to get a hold of you.
Sure. I use my real name on Facebook. It's Lori Settle, LORISETTLE. Or if they want to email me, it's lori.optinvestigations@gmail.com. And then they can watch the programming on YouTube if they want to. When Ghost Attack, Episode 1, Season 1.
I'm going to watch that again here pretty quick, probably. Lori, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to give you the first of the last word tonight.
The first of the last word. Okay.
Well, we could say the first of the F word. No, I'm just kidding.
No. We already dropped the F word, Ferrell. We dropped that a lot of times tonight.
We don't have Jody on tonight, so we can't use the F word.
Just give me a second. Be kind to one another.
She stole it again, Chuck. The guest always steals my last word. No.
Oh, shut up! Come on. I think that's super important. Be kind to one another, and it's definitely something that a lot more folks out there need to do. All right, Benji, you're on the spot. You're next.
Well, my be kind to one another still stands, but also make sure you respect everybody, whether you disagree with them or not. Disagreements are a part of life, and it's what we learn from. Also want to give a shout out to my brothers and ministers of the haunted. One of them is going to be getting married here in just over a month, so that's some pretty exciting stuff. Dustin Harms, he's getting married October 21st. If anybody wants to crash the wedding. No, I'm just kidding. But he's an awesome guy. Can't wait to celebrate that with him. The Waldorf Paranormal Society is starting back up again, so that's going to be starting up again this week. Open to the public, but mainly on campus. Just keep praying for all of those that are going through these natural disasters all over. Keep them in your hearts, in your minds, in your prayers. The hurricanes, the hurricane after the hurricane. Now it sounds like another one might be coming that way again. The fires up north and to the west of us, they're still raging. People had to evacuate their homes in both extremes of the U.S. and other countries. It's leaving me right now where just had the biggest earthquake that they've ever experienced. Somewhere South America, I want to say. I can't remember for sure. But they just had a huge earthquake down there. So keep everybody in your prayers and just be kind.
Fantastic. And my last words are this. Holy crap. Did you move that? No, I'm just messing with that. That was my last words. Holy crap.
My cell phone. I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Oh, man. Okay. All right, here we go. Much love to all of our listeners, to everybody out there. And again, to reiterate what Benji said, lots of prayers out there to all that need it. And we're always around. We love that you come to the Beyond the Light Radio Network. Tune in tomorrow night to Haruku at 8 Central, 9 Eastern. And, all of our shows. Experiences Within the Light Wednesday night. Thursday night, Introspection. And Saturday night, Jen Berciaga, Psychic Divination Hour. For everybody with the Beyond the Light Radio Network, good night. Stay safe. We'll leave the light on for it. No, I'm just kidding. We're not Motel 6. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for having me.